Some YouTubers love Tulum, others say it sucks. So who's right? In today's video, we're going to show you both sides of Tulum so you can make an informed decision, and like most things, it's not black and white. It really depends on who you are, what's your budget, and what are you looking for. We collected the top 5 best and worst things about Tulum according to the most popular YouTube videos. And if you follow the Swank Guide, you'll know I've got my opinions too, and won't hold back. So why should you listen to me anyway? Well, I did spend a bunch of time sifting through all those YouTube videos, and part of my family was with me for a chunk of the trip, from my dear mom to my daughters, so I got a lot of perspectives. But most importantly, I'm first and foremost a hotel critic, and I spent over 2 weeks test driving 13 Tulum hotels and had access to 2 more, so I think I'm qualified. Anyway, some YouTubers call Tulum paradise, others call it hell. Which is it? Let's run through the top 5 best and worst things so we can find out. And we'll end the video with 4 tips that should practically guarantee a great Tulum vacation. That is, if you decide Tulum's for you. Some YouTubers complain that the internet is slow in Tulum, and I get that could be a problem for folks who need to work. But it's actually unfair because it's not a Tulum problem, it's a where you stay problem. At the Swank Guide, we test hotel internet speeds, and in Tulum it ranges from a pretty fast 72 Mbps to a low of 6. You need about 10 Mbps to do a reliable Zoom call, so at 90% of the places we tried, it was higher than 10. So I don't think this is a big deal. If you need to work, ask before you book, or you can watch one of our videos. The 5th best thing about Tulum is that it's not just a beach destination. There's lots of things to do and see. There's Mexican culture at the Tulum ruins and natural wonders like all those cenotes, and about 90 minutes south is a UNESCO World Heritage Biosphere. Check out our What to Do in Tulum video for more info. There's a link in the description. And before we move on, remember that the Swank Guide's here to help you find the most unique and interesting vacations. We'd be grateful if you could help us out by liking this video, and please subscribe. Gracias. The 4th worst thing about Tulum is that parts of the beach suck. It can be crowded, loud, full of falling down drunks. It's spring break, which is great if you're in college or love to forget big chunks of your fabulous holiday. But if that's not you, this can be an issue. Also, because the beach is dominated by private hotels and beach clubs, there's limited public access. So if you can't pay for a hotel on the beach or for beach club access, Tulum may not be right for you. The 4th best thing about Tulum is the beach. What? You just said it sucked. I did not. I just said other people said it sucked. Regardless of what part of the beach you're on, the sand's idyllic, the water's clear, and the surf's good for swimming. And here's my first pro tip. The thing to remember about Tulum is the farther south you go, the better. The north and central bits can be chaotic, but the south has more palm trees, it's less crowded, and the extreme south is super quiet and natural. We're at the end of Tulum Beach right now, and you can see it is so pretty, it is so peaceful, you can walk for miles. The 3rd worst thing about Tulum is the main road that runs along the beach is dusty, has almost no sidewalks, and can turn into a traffic jam. It's fair to say development has been way too quick and infrastructure has not kept up. But I've traveled to over 60 countries, and this is pretty typical in the developing world, so I don't think it's particular to Tulum. Go to Australia if you want great beaches and infrastructure. Also, some YouTubers yearn for the bygone days of hippies, yogis, free love, and all that spiritual stuff. And it's fair to say a lot of that's been eroded by overdevelopment, but it's not totally gone. So that leads me to the 3rd best thing about Tulum, and that's the creative, artistic, and spiritual culture that's in fact not gone. It's just not as easy to find. But you have to know where to look. If that's interesting to you, then we have a hotel rec that I think best captures that Tulum spirit. It was one of the cheapest and one of my favorite hotels in Tulum, which just proves my point that you don't have to spend gobs of money for something special. There's a link to that video below and here. The second worst thing about Tulum is the cost. This is a legit complaint, I think. Food, taxis, and hotels are expensive relative to other parts of Mexico. In terms of hotels, we have recommendations for low to mid-price places that still pack tons of style. But overall, I think it's fair to say if you have a limited budget, there are better options in Mexico. The second best thing about Tulum is the food. If I look back over the past 5 years and think about my top 10 restaurant experiences, I'd have to say 3 were in Tulum. I've never had so many great meals in such a short amount of time. There's a real foodie culture here that I think's special. At the end of this video, I'll list my 3 favorite Tulum restaurants in our How to Ensure a Great VACAY segment. I kind of thought I was misremembering about the food until I found Janet Newenham's video, and she confirmed that I'm not crazy. Thank you, Janet. And she also raved about the food. There's a link to her video below for you foodies. Okay, the number one worst thing, at least the most mentioned complaint on YouTube, is the seaweed. It wasn't an issue during my trip. It kind of feels like complaining that the ocean is salty. But to be fair, there are times of the year when there's a lot of seaweed on the beach, and other times when it's not a thing. It mostly depends on the time of year, so here's another pro tip. If this might be a deal breaker for you, seaweed season's April to October. There are lots of hurricanes then anyway, so the hotels are cheap for a reason. Okay, the number one best thing about Tulum, and this is more my opinion than a YouTube consensus, is all the cool, unique, interesting design and architecture you see in tons of hotels, restaurants, and bars. I also love that there are no mega resorts here, a welcome relief from so many tourist hotspots. So if you're looking for a great beach with great design and hate mega resorts, Tulum might be for you. Okay, here are 4 quick tips for a great Tulum vacay. Number 4, if you're a foodie, plan ahead and make resis. Number 3, probably don't come between May and October because of the hurricanes and seaweed. Number 2, seek out that spiritual side of Tulum. It's still here and it could mean the difference between an average and a great holiday. And the number 1 best chance of having a great Tulum trip is staying in the right place. So that means picking the part of the beach that suits you best, if you can afford the beach that is, and finding a resort that's best for you. The Swank Guide has our top 10 list. Okay, did you catch that? Alright, no worries. There's a link to that video here and in the description. Anyway, we cover budget and luxury accommodations, with the common denominator being great design and style. And for all you foodies out there, here are my top 3 Tulum restaurants. Take a screenshot. They aren't budget options, but were all memorable and better than some Michelin star restaurants that were 3 or 4 times the cost. You know, I didn't like Tulum when I first arrived, mostly because we stayed in the wrong resort on the wrong part of the beach. I just didn't know. But once I found the right part of the beach and all the hidden gems, I fell in love. I'm not here to sell Tulum or diss Tulum. Who you are, what you're looking for, and how well you plan will make all the difference. But if you do come, I hope this will help you have a great vacay. Please like this video and subscribe, and thanks for watching. See you in the next video.